flap, pustule, jowls, nugget, gurgle, smear, bulbous, pork.
If you hear certain words on the job site,
baloney,
work can be uncomfortable.
tender.
So at least get work gear that's comfortable. Timberland Pro work shirts, pants, and boots. Head to toe, Timberland Pro. Not uncomfortable.
Moist.
Workouts are finally underway here in Indianapolis at the NFL Combine as you take a live look at Lucas Oil Stadium. Offensive linemen and running backs are on the field today. Quarterbacks will take center stage on Saturday. Coaches and GMs were out and about early. Workouts started around 9 a.m. this morning. They will continue through the weekend, wrapping up on Monday with defensive backs. As we say hello inside the Indiana Convention Center on this Friday afternoon, I'm Wendy Nix with Todd McShay, Louis Riddick, and Bill Polian. Chris Mortensen and Adam Schefter will join us shortly. But first, take a look at the schedule. Here's what's happening today at the Combine. It's a busy day as the running backs and offensive linemen hit the field for workouts. Quarterbacks and pass catchers go through psychological testing today, and the 225-pound bench press continues. The front seven get their measurements and medical exams, while the guys in the secondary will be registered and have a pre-combine physical exam. It wasn't until really just about 2 hours ago that the draft order was set. The 49ers and Raiders participated in a coin toss, and that was to decide between the 9th and 10th picks in the draft. And the 49ers were the winners, winning the coin toss, so they will pick at 9th overall. So
I didn't hear a word you just said, Wendy, to be honest with you.
No?
Saquon Barkley just ran a 4.41 unofficial 40 time, and we were all watching that. But I'm sure it was riveting.
It was brilliant, actually. If you didn't hear it, let me be the first to tell you. But why don't we start right there? You know, why not? Because Saquon Barkley is the headliner, and we were all watching. And Louis, you made this point. You know, he's just here to sort of dot the I and cross the T's. We all know what this guy is.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, his vertical was a precursor to his 40. Lower body explosiveness usually transfers like this. So when you saw him come out of the blocks, I mean, you just saw just ridiculous lower body explosiveness. Look, to me, he's just going to continue to get better as he goes through the drills here. And you know how I feel about working out the combine. I think everyone should. But, boy, Saquon, just take it easy.
Yeah. Pace yourself.
Take it easy. You're good to go.
He's elite in every respect. He'll put on a show catching the ball in the catching drills, and I'm sure that his triangle drill will be just exactly like this is. He probably will put in, when it's all said and done, not that this means anything, but he'll probably be the best overall performance ever in the combine.
One of the best I ever saw was Adrian Peterson, and he was at 217 pounds. He had a 38.5-inch vertical. Saquon had 41-inch vertical at 233 pounds, and they both basically ran the same exact 40 times. So I agree with Bill. This may be one of the most special workouts from one of the most special players you've ever seen.
He's the best player in the draft.
What's the perfect storm?
Stop right there.
Right. When you watch him play the game, and then he comes here, and he could tell he put in the work. He took this very serious. He worked on his 40, worked on his starts. He had his strength where it needed to be. When it just all comes together and it's all confirmed like this, man, as a scout, you just sit there and you go,
you just smile.
Thank you. You know what I mean? It's those guys who don't play good, who test well, guys who don't test well, who play good, that just drive you crazy.
I'll tell you who's happy today.
Who's happy today?
Roger Goodell, because he's got one of the best kids ever to come in this league in the last 10 or so years, with a tremendous story, and he's every bit as good a player as the hype.
I've never seen a following for any player around the combine, including quarterbacks, like we've seen for Saquon Barkley this week. He is the face of this draft class, even though you have Sam Darnold and Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield, who won the Heisman and went to the national championship. I mean, it's amazing, or the semifinal. It's amazing to watch how much people love being around him and how much people just appreciate him, the person, and how great he's been and treated everyone else that he's been around.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, we say special player. We say one of the best performances in the draft ever. We say can't miss. All of this. Qualify. Why? What makes him this sort of once-in-a-lifetime kind of player that we're talking about?
because you have a list of boxes. You always hear the checking off the boxes. You have this list of all the things you look for, and this guy is elite in just about every single one. And if he's not elite, he's very, very good. And then you get to know him a little bit, and you talk to everyone who's been around him, and the work ethic, he's a legend in the weight room. He's a leader. He's tough on his teammates, but his teammates love him. And the skill set's easy to figure out. You watch a couple games and you're like, all right, this guy's up there. But then you learn everything else about him. You don't have to worry about a thing when it comes to Saquon Barkley. You draft him, he's going to be in great shape. He's going to be ready to go. He's going to come in and he's going to change the tone of your organization. So if you're the Browns sitting there at 1, the Giants at 2, the Colts at 3. Whichever organization he winds up going to, they could all use a little bit of a facelift, and he's the perfect guy to do it.
Look, there's an old saying that goes like this: talent sets the floor, character sets the ceiling. That's why you're saying there is no real ceiling for this kid, because there's no character flaws with him. And that, when you couple it with, is going to be record numbers for his position group as far as all the explosive testing numbers. Then you look at his character, you look at his story, how much he wants to be great, how much he's going to be accountable, how much he's going to be the best player on his team, and he's going to be the best kid on his team. And when you have that,
well, that's a great combination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for.
When your best player, when your bell cow is your best guy, you got a chance to go all the way and be there for a long time. This is one of those kids, and they're rare.
All right, enough said. Josina Anderson caught up with the man of the hour, Saquon Barkley, a little earlier today.
All right, so ring, ring, ring. New York Giants are on the phone. You tell me, why would Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham Jr. be a more electric duo for NYU, who has the number 2 overall pick, than, let's say, OBJ and Baker Mayfield? Go.
That's a great question, actually. Odell Beckham Jr. is obviously one of the most electrifying players in the NFL, and obviously he got hurt last year, but I see his Instagram and see his posts. I don't think he's going to miss a beat at all. But if I can have the success that I had in college football, God willing, you got to prepare for a run game. You got to stop the run game, and hopefully I can add another defender in that box, and then you don't want to play man coverage, single coverage out there with Odell Beckham.
So basically they should go with you, right? All right, so the other thing is young running backs like Alvin Kamara, Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott were all able to hit the ground running because in part of their ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. What did you specifically do to improve your pass catching skills?
Just work on my ball placement and work on my hands, jugs, catching after practice with Trace and Tommy and all those guys, and watching film on how those guys run a route. So those guys are top of their game, and they're at the top of the game for a reason. They're versatile players. They can do it all. They're not just only the guys who can run the ball. They can catch the ball at the backfield. They can block too. So that's what I strive to be, and hopefully I can continue to grow in that area.
So if you could have 3 people with you on the stage at the NFL draft, no family members, no close ones, and don't be boring here, who would you pick to be on the stage with you?
So I'm going Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
Can he be dead or alive?
Whoever.
Tupac Shakur.
I knew you were going Tupac. Okay.
And Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Yes, and then you going to moonwalk off the stage?
I'm going to have to.
We got it.
Yes,
all right, then. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much.
Tupac's going to be a tough get.
Tupac, yeah, but Michael Jackson's not a bad pick either. Interesting kid. Quentin Nelson, we should tell you, a top offensive line prospect out of Notre Dame, did not run the 40 today. He tweaked his hamstring. It's not considered serious. Offensive lineman also working out today. He'll wait, I think, and do that at his pro day after coming up just a little bit scuffed up. Oklahoma tackle Orlando Brown. So there's Saquon Barkley's day, and then there's Orlando Brown's day. It did not go in the same direction, and he has not helped his cause here.
This is a historically bad trip to Indianapolis.
Or
for
that.
Offensive lineman.
That was also...
It's unfortunate because I watched his tape, and when I was done, I thought he had a chance to become a starting right tackle in the NFL. There were some sloppy plays. There were some times he's lunging and off balance, but there's a lot of times where he is dominating players, good defensive ends, and finishing. He has a nasty play demeanor. He's a really good run blocker, but he comes here and he benches just 14 reps. I know he has long arms, but if you go and compare that to all the other offensive tackles that have had success in the league, it's not even close. And then with the 40 time, he runs a 5.8. It's the 5th worst 40 time ever recorded at an NFL combine. So, part of it to me is a frustration, guys, of are you working at it?
Exactly.
And what have you been doing to prepare for this? And then the other part is maybe he just physically does not have the tools to play in the NFL. It's concerning.
You know what? Before he even worked out, having watched his tape, I was sitting there going, look, there's a lot about this guy, quite honestly, that I don't like. Other than the fact that he's big, There's a lot of things I don't like. Doesn't play with great knee bend. Doesn't play with great hustle. Doesn't have very good feet. Doesn't play with the kind of demeanor that you're looking for. So I was wondering just what he would be like when he got here. What would his approach be like? Had he worked on flexibility? Had he worked on running a respectable 40 time? Was he going to be the kind of guy in drills where he's going to be hustling, doing everything he could to kind of ingratiate himself to coaches? Wrong. None of that shows up. So now it's on the flip side of Saquon Barkley, right? His tape to me is not that impressive, and then you have this kind of performance here. Now you go back and you go, now you got a problem. You got a problem for him.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason why they do the testing that they do here at the Combine. Some of it is overrated. The bench press is way overrated. There's no correlation between that and success in the National Football League for offensive and defensive linemen. However, there is a benchmark that you should hit if you have any chance at all to play, and 14 is below the benchmark. You should be in the 18 to 20 range. That's just working out like we do. You work out harder than I do, but like we do every day. I mean, that's just recreational workouts. Sure. And then no one has played in the National Football League at that kind of a time. And that's the reason that they have these drills. You draw a line, and he's below the line for success in both the 40 and the bench press. That's a big red flag.
And I should mention, I mentioned earlier, he's the fifth worst time. The four other players were not drafted and did not play in the NFL. So
yeah, it's a tough group to be in, really. Tough company to keep if you want to play at the next level. We turn now to Adam Schefter and Chris Mortensen, and we'll go back to the bench press. Shefty, Billy Price hurt himself yesterday in the bench press, had to stop. What more can you tell us there?
Well, Wendy, what happened here is the Ohio State center, Billy Price, went to the bench, tried to bench press, and essentially on his very first rep felt a tear